Tommy Curran joining us here on the Harbor One Hotline. Tommy, let's go ahead and start right with the Bill O'Brien stuff. You've been all over this from basically the jump. Why would Bill O'Brien choose to come to New England if, as has been reported elsewhere, Vegas, Tennessee, other teams may be interested?
Level of comfort, opportunity to work with people that he's comfortable with, proximity to family. He's obviously from this area. I think Mac Jones is a good player. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's somebody you can definitely work with. All those reasons are compelling reasons, especially the family reasons.
And so with that, Tom, I mean, let's go ahead and talk about the quarterback again, because there's been a bunch of discussion now with, some of the quarterback carousel issues coming up. Derek Carr, would they trade Derek Carr for Mac Jones or what have you? If you're looking at this and you're Bill O'Brien, would that have an impact to you? It's like, okay, are we keeping Mac Jones or are we not? Do you think he would want to specifically work with Mac Jones, or is he just trying to find, the best quarterback available to work with?
No, I think that, the reasons I just listed, none of those said go in and find the best quarterback. So to me, it's family situation. He's got, right now, his family's divided. He's been in Alabama. His son has, had some pretty well documented difficulties health-wise over the course of time. And there's I believe, a strong desire to reunite, make sure that the family unit is back in the position they needed to be in. So that's the most compelling thing. As for Mac Jones, I don't think that Bill O'Brien's going to look at Mac Jones and say, oh, my God, I can't work with that guy. I mean, this is the most expressly one-off year that you could ever possibly imagine. He went without coaching virtually on the offensive side of the ball. So I don't know who you would have plugged in here this year with that kind of game planning and play design who would have had a better year.
Tommy, Bill O'Brien, if he were to come here, do you think that there would be some sort of stipulations attached to it in terms of his future beyond maybe what happens with Bill Belichick?
Honestly, I could not even begin to pretend that I knew.
Would that be something you think he'd ask for?
I can't even begin to pretend to know. Honestly, Christian, that's like a full hypothetical. Mm-hmm. So if I say yes, then it turns into, he wants stipulations. I just don't know. So I'm going to try and be as, speculation-free, because things do get repurposed quickly. And I could not say that he would want stipulations of anything. I think that Bill Belichick would want continuity in the offensive coordinator position, in any of his coordinator positions. It's what he prefers. And I think that had a lot to do with, the decisions made to just say, all right, well, these guys are going to be here. At least I know that. I'm not going to go beat the bushes for somebody who might be here for 15 minutes. But I don't know if Bill's in a position right now to vet somebody based upon how long they're going to stay, given the way it went when he made that a big stipulation last year.
Tom, you mentioned on Up and Adams today with Kay Adams, who's on Quick Slants with you all the time, mentioned that you didn't see any scenario really where Bill Belichick is going to step down. He has no intention of doing so. We've seen a couple of people suggest that maybe the ending of this year, or the way things have gone this year, have put his future into doubt, whether he wants to leave or not. Is there any scenario to you where the last couple of games of this season could have any long-lasting bearing on whether or not he gets to finish his career in New England?
Of course. They lose 73-0. All bets are off. But again, it's hypotheticals. I mean, could anything happen that would make Bill Belichick look so bad that he either say, I can't do this anymore? I mean, do you remember how Don Shula's final game went? Well, 62-7 and Tom Coughlin in the playoffs. That took care of that down in Miami.
We're talking with Tommy Curran here, NBC Sports Boston. Tommy, you sort of talked about the continuity that Bill O'Brien would bring to the offense if he was brought in as OC. Is that something that you think, in your opinion, is good for this team to sort of continue with the same kind of, Belichick coaching tree guys, or maybe is this an opportunity to sort of break off and go a different direction? And would Bill be open to that?
I think it makes sense to do whatever the quarterback and coordinator feel comfortable with Bill's oversight. They tried to shelve what they had done previously to an extent. Kyrie noticed it very quickly in minicamp. And it continued, not only in terms of the wide zone runs that they hammered their head against the wall for a majority of the summer, but also with the philosophical switch to say, let's take some more shots. And then they had to back off of that. Even though that Baltimore game, you can focus on the 3 picks, but the way Mac threw in that game, if you just roll the completions together, he looks friggin' good. That's the best he's looked in the NFL. And so it's there. If you can design things better, if you can get better protection for him, if you could have an offensive coordinator who orchestrates plays in a manner that's ahead of what was done this year, then I think you can go ahead with this offense. I don't think it's the offense. I think it's the coaching and the details and the game situation stuff that shines through even more. And again, maybe the offense would have sucked, but they never even got to find out because they couldn't get past the first level.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that trips me up, because you were there too. I mean, we were seeing all of these issues that we've been seeing. We've been seeing them for months now, before the season even started, and you're just wondering why it's not getting any better. Now, we talked about the offense a lot here. Let's talk a little bit about the defense here. So this upcoming game against the Dolphins, they've lost their starting quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. The Patriots, however, have no healthy quarterbacks, or no healthy cornerbacks, I should say. Mm-hmm. Which is a bigger issue in your mind?
The corners, because exploiting the quarterback when it's Teddy Bridgewater is different from exploiting the quarterback when it's Sam Ehlinger. Teddy Bridgewater is a professional. He's had plenty of success in the league. He is absolutely not a far cry from Tua in terms of a one-off. You're not going to build your franchise around Teddy Bridgewater because of age and injury history. But talent-wise, you're not looking at this massive drop-off between the two players by any stretch. I am a big Teddy Bridgewater guy. And I don't think that, to me, is going to be a huge obstacle or impediment to them succeeding. He will be rusty, but that cornerback matchup, he's going to still be able to throw outs to Tyreek Hill and slants to Jalen Waddle. And that, to me, is a big deal for the banged-up secondary to have to deal with.
Tommy Curran joins us here on the program. Tommy, just a little bit more on this Dolphins matchup here. Obviously, this is a team that Bill Belichick has had lots of trouble with. Going back to the Tom Brady days, especially these late-season games. I know they're not playing in Miami this weekend, but why do you think over the last couple of years this team has been just so tough on the Patriots?
Matchups, and I think Bill always relies on that as his matchups, familiarity, AFC East familiarity, coaching familiarity, whether it's Josh Boyer or Brian Flores. That's really when it started. Brian Flores got his head handed to him 43-0 at the beginning of the 2019 season. They won on the Miami Miracle later that year. And since then, I might be mistaken, I don't know if the Patriots have beaten them. It's not 5 straight, is it? No. They beat them once.
4 straight.
4 straight, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think there's so much familiarity with Boyer, with Flores, with Terry Shaplinski was down there, I believe, as well. So there's that familiarity that I think plays into it, and the weather, and just the talent on the field. If you look at what the Patriots tried to do defensively this year, personnel-wise, a lot of it was to address what Buffalo was doing. But if they didn't think Miami was already its equal or superior, they should have. And all of the things they did trying to get faster does address what Miami brings just as much as Buffalo.
Last one for me, Tom. I love Rhamondre Stevenson. Most of us love Rhamondre Stevenson. These last couple of games have been tough, not necessarily from a number standpoint against the Raiders, but the way things have ended with the lateral and then the fumble. I get how much has this ending of the season kind of changed perception about where he is as a player, and perhaps brought up concerns about, man, I mean, he's one of your best players, but I mean, can you count on him at the ends of these games?
I'll take a guy like Jaylen Brown, who would drive me absolutely berserk for about the first however long until this year. I would pound my head on the coffee table and say, when will it stop? When will he stop leaving his feet, dribbling off his knee, trying to go through 3 people, and playing my turn offense? And little by little, percentage after percentage, he's eliminated it. so that now when he falls down going backwards up the court, it's the outlier. The basic point I'm trying to make is talented players who try hard are going to get better. And that's what's going to happen with Stevenson. Those were wholly preventable mistakes. I mean, he kind of should have gone down. The flip over the head is obviously the dumbest thing anybody's ever seen, compounded by what Myers did. But I would have no reservations at all about saying, Rhamondre Stevenson's the running back here. We feel good about it.
All right, we'll leave it right there then. Tommy Curran, thanks so much for the time today. Always good to talk with you.
All right. Happy New Year, boys.
You too.
Thank you so much, Tommy.